Hello, greetings everybody. Welcome. It's Discussing Tabletop time. It is May 13th. I am tired, but I am here.
I'm full of allergies today.
So, I don't think either of us are doing great.
No, my nose hurts, man.
It has been a heck of a week, apparently. Like, in a weird way, because a lot of things happened.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should just talk about some of these and, like, you know. So,
yeah.
I guess the first thing is, it's the largest change to Magic the Gathering Standard since it was established in 96.
Mm-hmm.
Even the rotation didn't actually change much of Standard. Let me put it this way. There was another change that happened for Magic the Gathering Standard. It's always been the last, like, technically, like, 6 sets, I would say, I think it was, right? About that, 5, 6 sets. They basically...
Yeah.
Basically, every year, they kind of went out. And so... it was 1 year, I'm sorry, it was the last 4 sets.
Yeah.
But they would, like, clear out blocks as new blocks kind of did that originally, so it kind of would fluctuate how many sets were in it for a little bit. Then it went to specifically 6 sets to standardize that a little bit. Now it's rather than so it was every 2 years. Now it's going to 3 years. There we go. I was right about the 2 years. God, my brain is so fuzzed today.
No, that's fair.
I'll put this announcement.
I think this change is fine.
Yeah.
It's changed standard. I don't play standard. I will never play standard. I don't like standard. Most days I don't own new cards, and I don't like continue to buy new cards.
It's one of these things that they want to revitalize standard. Okay. But I'm gonna say this here. Most of their current decisions are really what's messing with standard rather than, it just being a staple. They don't support, as much the standard events at local stores or the, standard events that people would get together at. Like, I think, was it Channel Fireball does the tournament stuff now?
Yeah.
Because Wizards didn't want to do any of that.
I think
that was
this
standard.
is my cool speculation. Because Arena is only standard. It might be because of Arena's popularity that they're changing it. Because Arena only has standard format. Well, it has historic, but it doesn't have anything actually old.
Mm-hmm.
Because Arena is quite new.
I guess it's a historic is since Arena's been out kind of thing.
Yeah. The historic is since Arena's been out. It doesn't have anything like mega old. But the main way you play Arena is standard. I think they're just trying to get Arena longevity from it. Because to me that makes sense for this kind of change.
Yeah, it's this weird thing that, like, I just don't know, like, the returns they get in Arena as much. I guess there has been plenty of people that has popularity.
Arena is popular. It's only going to get more popular because I think it's coming to Steam now at some point. It's certainly not for me, but it is a very casual way to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
I just don't like 1v1, which is the only game mode it supports. I prefer the big multiplayer game.
And another thing I have to say about it is there's plenty of people that find Arena fine, but I feel like no one, like, loves Arena. It's always, like, at least... I'm sure.
It perpetually has its issues.
Yeah.
It's a mobile game, basically.
Yeah, mobile game. Which, no one loves a mobile game. They only are like, it's fine, I do it because I enjoy it.
They've made some, like, pro-consumer changes with how you can get cards for free. It's easier to get free packs now in Arena. They give you a free deck every once in a while, and you get the cards from that. So, to say it's all pay for cards, it's not true, but you will have a better time if you do pay for the card packs.
you mentioning Arena really nailed home where their standards are. They're doing that for that, even though sort of like Standard as a format is floundering and suffering. The only reason that it's functioning is Arena, because Arena has its popularity, as you said, because it doesn't have any other options. As soon as you
just 1v1 Standard.
Yeah, but as soon as you add something else, it might crush the popularity of Standard, honestly.
If they would ever add Commander to it, I think Commander would become the main thing people play, because Commander is the most popular way to play Magic. At least to my knowledge, it still is.
Yeah, it's had some good popularity. I guess it's because, like... And I understand this. It adds a lot more to brewing a deck kind of thing.
Yeah, it's certainly what I like playing when I played Magic pretty heavily. I liked Commander a lot.
It's an interesting idea. Will this actually give some longevity to Standard? Other than Arena? Maybe? I don't know.
They start supporting events more. If they...
Yes.
Release better sets.
If they...
Because the last couple sets have been pretty lackluster.
Yeah. If they're... honestly, even cards. Like, you know, I've complained about the story a lot, too, but, like, I gotta be honest, a lot of the cards have just been also just kind of...
Yeah, like, the story is one thing. Honestly, the story doesn't matter to Magic, in all honesty. The cards lately just aren't good, or aren't interesting enough.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying there's not standouts here and there, but, like, you want more than, like, a handful of cards in your entire set to be standouts.
Like, if I would look at, was the March of the Machine was the latest one?
Yes.
Or whatever. I'd look at that, and then I would look at Capenna or Kamigawa. Capenna and Kamigawa have far more interesting things. But the main set, the one they're pushing for the story, isn't very interesting. The mechanics of it are fine, sure. It doesn't have anything... The cards are okay. It doesn't have anything going for it to draw me in. But maybe Eldraine will be different, even though I don't like Eldraine as a plan at all.
A good Magic set should have a decent story, a balanced gameplay for its cards, and then also mechanics that can exist within a lot of other formats, and cards that, from all rarities, I will pick that, from all rarities, that you can sort of pick up in various places.
Yeah, I think, for me, Neon Dynasty is the perfect example of a Magic set, because on all rarities there is something interesting. Its mechanics are fun, its story was pretty interesting. I do hope they do more with that plane. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. And I thought the characters they introduced were pretty good.
Yeah. So, hopefully Standard will get a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just hoping that this is also them, I don't know, moving in a good step for some direction, but who knows?
It's gonna be a good step and then 2 steps back, because that's just how it is with Wizards all the time.
It really feels like that.
They progress a little bit, then they do something that knocks them back.
So, this is a weird one, a little bit. Dungeons & Dragons free 24-hour streaming channel to launch this summer.
Okay.
There's a Variety article that's talking about it. So it's Hasbro's Entertainment 1, E1, is having a... What the hell can you have on a 24-hour channel?
Hasbro owns a lot of cartoons.
But a D&D channel.
That's true. The 80s cartoon.
Yeah, but that's not a lot of loop the entire time.
What the hell? D&D media.
Well,
you got... What media exists for D&D?
Well, the ones that they mention are a slate of original celebrity-focused unscripted series, including Encounter Party, Faster, Purple Worm, Kill Kill, and Heroes Feast. And then the 1980s animated series.
Fair enough.
It's supposed to be a third-player content from top internet creators and influencers with a focus on live gameplay. The thing about that is that just doing clout for those people? Or are you paying them for a free streaming channel?
I have no clue. I mean, the cooking show is interesting because it's a cooking show.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Uh,
what do I get? What do I get from watching? Besides seeing Matthew Lillard, who is fantastic, what do I get from this versus watching Critical Role or Roll For It or Dimension 20? Right? Like, there are D&D shows everywhere. What do I get specifically from these ones?
yeah. Like, yeah. Okay, I'll give you the cookbook, the culinary kind of one. Interesting. Okay. You know, they could come up with some interesting meals or something to, like, you know, that's creative.
Cartoon, haha, funny. The D&D animated show was... It's amusing. I mean, it's a bad show, but it's amusing.
What did Wizards do this time?
Couple things.
Be weird.
A little weird.
Like, the encounter party, I think that's, as you said, like, it's just there. Even the faster Purple Worm Kill, that's like, yes, it's Matthew Lillard, but it's a comedy D&D, which honestly does also exist. People that have like comedic elements.
Dimension 20, for the most part, is comedic D&D a lot of the time.
Yeah. So neither of those are really new. I just don't know, and like, how are you going to get all this in 24 hours is a lot.
Yeah.
And it's, you know,
like, they'll need to add a lot of content to this because there isn't enough of anything here to be like, this can fill a 24-hour block with advertisements. Advertisements, usually the rule is for an hour, it's 15 minutes of ads. At least that's the TV rule. I don't know how they do it on streaming services and shit.
Well, it is technically a television channel, is the thing about this. So it's going to show up on, like, cable of some kind. I guess? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe you can stream it online? We don't know. It's expected to be available on a number of platforms. But there's no deals yet, apparently.
It is Canadian, apparently. Originally, at least.
Oh, the E1?
E1 is originally Canadian, so it's been around.
I guess
I bought it in 2019.
A free ad-supported streaming television channel, so a fast channel. I don't know the difference between TV channels anymore, how they work at this point. So
I haven't owned a TV box in about 10 years.
There's one in my house. I haven't gotten on it in like a couple of years. I walk by a room and watch people occasionally watching something on TV and then leave. Because I'm not hanging around that room. I'm passing by to get something from the kitchen.
What is a fast channel? Okay, free ads for television. Okay. I guess, I don't know. I don't know enough about TV to be like, here's how this will work. I haven't watched a television show on a TV station in about 10 years. So,
yeah.
I use like HBO Max or Netflix or Hulu.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions about it. I don't think we'll have answers. It's an I don't know.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I guess we'll have to see more when we know more at some point about the D&D channel. But honestly, I'm still like 24 hours of content, 365 days a year. I don't know about that unless you're getting a lot of repeats. And I'm sorry, this is like there's only so many times you can watch an adventure, and
problem with this as well is when a D&D game is streamed, you can watch the VOD whenever, right? If this is a TV channel, you miss it. You have to be available at that time every week to watch it.
Yeah. So,
right, like I can just watch a Critical Role VOD on like a Monday if I've missed the Thursday show, right?
Yep.
But for this, I don't know how they're going to do that.
I
I guess DVRs are maybe common enough these days, but Again, I haven't owned a television in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we have a DVR downstairs, but still, yes. Even so, like, there's just so much about it, you know, that, like, again, my entire thing is, like, just how are you going to have enough original content for it to feel like a channel?
Like, I guess, like Lightning said, they might pay for DMs or license old stream games to run.
I guess if you've ads supporting it, you
a way to do that, you know.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. Mostly because I don't really know who would want to watch a D&D show on television.
That's the question.
Because television has so many different rules than a stream.
Well, they call it like a streaming TV channel, so it might not be for like your basic cable or something.
I assume you'd have to buy it. Like, you have to pay for it as part of or come in part of a package deal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can get basic cable, and then you can get all this fancier stuff. So, but there's still different rules to being on in national television than compared to being on, like, Twitch.
Yep. Oh, Jesus. I realize I'm darkness. Because I have this... It's the normal problem. I had it full screen the entire time here. I've been darkness. And trying to mess around with this has just caused issues. Great. That goes back there. Are we there? Good. I can kind of arrange this properly. We're back in business. All right. So, it's a TV channel. We'll see.
Strange.
Nope.
I won't write it off yet. But it's very bizarre.
Yep. We'll know more later, I guess, this year. Hey, the first of two Humbles, which are gonna be one now and one at the end of this entire discussion, is there's a Starfinder Humble bundle. That is a huge old thing there. It has two physical things you can add into the $45 one, which is the get all the items one, which includes the Alien Archive 2. I mean, it's effectively a monster manual, but
and you get a crit deck, which those are fun.
Yeah. So, honestly, if you want to have the physicals, it's $45. If you don't want to have them, it's $25. So it's $20 for the for a hardcover book and a crit deck. So that's a pretty good price. And it comes.
You get a full adventure pack as well. Full 6-part adventure pack.
Yeah. Get a full adventure path, a bunch of material, and the core rulebook, and a lot of the extra books. So you'll have actually the first 3 Alien Archives too. So that's a lot of things to choose from.
A lot of content.
Yeah. So honestly, $25 for just the PDFs, $45 if you want the physical stuff.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So,
$35 plus shipping.
True. Mm-hmm. Shipping not included for those 2 things. So good shout out there.
The price may go up depending on where you live.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's international, because that shit gets expensive.
It does, unfortunately. But did want to shout it out, so if you're interested in getting a Starfinder, check it out. It's one of the ones I probably should start talking about one of these days.
Yeah. I mean, Starfinder seems cool.
Mm-hmm. We have, of course, more information on the Tales of Valiant, the formerly known as Black Flag. We have a time when their Kickstarter is going live, I think.
Yeah, it's a countdown to the Kickstarter and then merch.
Yeah.
So fair enough, you know.
It's coming out. It's coming sometime in May. Hey, it's May.
Kickstarter. The date isn't there yet. At least that I can tell from this write-up. I don't want to watch it.
I don't want to, also go into the video about it.
How long is the video? It's 15 minutes, second video. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
There. Countdown. No, there isn't. We know that there is a Kickstarter coming. It's soon.
It's soon, and you can go to Kickstarter to get the notify me on launch. So
there is a new playtest packet will be available on the 15th as well. Oh no, playtest pack. The playtest packet 3 is already out. It's the monsters.
I'll also give this here, which is the link to the waiting screen for Kickstarter, for those of you interested in it, who've played the playtest. Because, it has been out. So, Tales of Valiant, we've talked about a little bit here and there. It's Kobold Press,
Yeah, Kobold Press makes good stuff usually.
Yeah. It's their unique 5e setting that's not whatever, Wizards is doing now, so...
Not Forgotten Realms.
Not Forgotten Realms.
Nor one D&D / whatever they're renaming it to.
So, I wanted to mention this because, for one, I didn't know this system existed off the top of my head. But also, it's more creatures. It's the Doctor Who is getting a new Alien Archive book, which I guess is more things you can encounter in your Doctor Who RPG. Yeah. Which I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, Doctor Who RPG does exist.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's actually another good thing I always support is more stuff that you have stats for it. So I'm definitely for that. But
I don't know a lot about the RPG.
Yeah.
But it is I mean, the stats are 5th edition compatible, so I'm assuming it is based on the 5th edition SRD, but Doctor Who, which is interesting.
So, and it does say that the Doctors and Daleks series is their 2nd edition of the Doctor Who role-playing game. So they gave it a title without calling it 2nd edition, technically, I guess. Because they keep it Doctors and Daleks or the 2nd edition of our award-winning Doctor Who role-playing game. And so I guess this is like the creature guide for that.
Makes sense.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff in Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's certainly could definitely be an interesting time to have. And it looks like there's a bunch of stuff they've got here for their products that I just honestly didn't know existed. It just fell under my radar. But hey, maybe I've talked about this at one time in like years ago. But
the thing is, Doctor Who, is somewhat a thing in North America. It is far more popular in the UK.
Yeah.
So we just may not have gotten news on this, to be fair.
That's very true, honestly. Yeah. So, we have a interesting Kickstarter product because it is a 5e setting, but I wanted to talk about it because it includes a 3D modular dungeon set and 200 plus plastic miniatures.
Ooh.
So
expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. It looks like let me see the stuff for the basic set. 3D dungeon set plus that is 87. The miniature set is 120 plus the PDF. Miniature set for hardcover. I'm trying to figure out the one that's everything. Okay, the deluxe box I think is the everything. I think.
Yeah, which is
247, which looks like you get
a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah, but it looks like you get the miniatures, you get the modular set, you get a whole bunch of other stuff, but then you get the PDF of the book and the also limited edition hardcover. So, I mean, it's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff.
And you can get just the PDF, honestly, if you wanted to have a new...
PDF is like 25.
Yeah, if you just want a new 5e fantasy setting, cool. But if you also want dungeon...
goodies.
Yeah. If you also want a 3D dungeon and/or giant box of minis, you can get those too. Yeah. So, there's a quick start to check it out if you want to see just what their setting is like. They provide some information about it. It's 5e,
It's a 5th edition adventure setting.
Yeah. So, we get a lot of those. We
kind of need them. I mean, Faerun. As fine as Faerun is, there's far more interesting places.
Yes, I will definitely agree with you. We need them. We do get them. This one's got an interesting thing with it. So, if you want to check it out.
Wizards doesn't really deliver with settings, mostly because they don't really own a lot of the older D&D settings, from my understanding. Because they don't own Eberron. I think they technically own Ravenloft.
They probably technically own Spelljammer, but Spelljammer, they just...
Yeah, it depends what they can use from TSR.
Yeah.
It's copyright. It's fun.
And they're not going to touch, like...
They're not going to touch Greyhawk, because Greyhawk sucks.
And they're not going to touch Dark Sun, because it's got a lot of issues, especially
Dark
now.
Sun also sucks.
I mean, that's the weird thing, is that I was... as a little side note, just with this entire thing, looking at 4th edition stuff, there was Dark Sun 4th edition stuff.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Dark Sun has its issues. There's some interesting ideas, and there's some terrible ideas in there. So, but, like, I just don't think they could do
Dark
it
Sun
justice.
doesn't fit what 5th edition is in any way. They can do Dragonlance. You can adapt Dragonlance to 5th edition. Dark Sun is too much for 5th edition.
It's too dark fantasy.
Yeah. It's also bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, the setting's kind of interesting. It's a terrible world to be on. Probably has some terrible things there. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. Dark Sun's an entirely different discussion. But if you want to check out Sanctuary Dungeon Tales, it's funded, 16 days to go. I'm on Kickstarter there. I wanted to talk about this because it's a trading card game. That's really the only reason I wanted to talk about it. I mean, it's the furry trading card game.
Furries.
But, yeah, Animal Kingdom. Look, I'm going to say this here about this. I just wanted to talk about it because a trading card game in this day and age. I'm sorry. There's not a lot of room for anything to squeeze in after Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon.
I can tell where they've gotten their inspiration from.
Mm-hmm.
These cards do look like Magic cards.
Mm-hmm.
They even have the little side game cards here, huh? I mean, it's cute. The art style is nice.
Yeah.
The art style.
They do have a print and play version, I guess, of it for this first set, But look, I'm gonna say this here about it. More power to them if people enjoy this and find it interesting. And look it up yourself to see it. It's funded, so it will be done. At least this version of it so far. Will more stuff be made? I don't know. I guess it comes down to gameplay.
God, okay, it just scrolls down. Story: humanity is dead. The sun has vanished. Good God.
That's a lot darker than the little cute characters would go.
Damn.
Welp. We took a dark turn there. Jeez.
Holy shit. Rip humanity. The furries have taken over. In the far-flung future, animal kind has risen in the primary inhabitants of a verdant, lush land known as the Animal Kingdom. Very creative. However, in the wake of the sun's disappearance, the once peaceful land has fallen. It's a JRPG.
It's a JRPG. Goodbye.
Monsters roam freely, and the land itself rebels. Yeah, this is a Final Fantasy game.
It's Final Fantasy, the Magic set. Yeah, I there's things I'm curious about it that I'm not gonna dive into. But if you like trading card games and you want to try something unique that is funded, and honestly,
there's rarity. Does it have boosters?
Yes, it looks like there's 4 pre-made decks, and then there's a booster box. Wild World is the booster box.
I could see this taking off in smaller communities.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a very specific niche, furry art, to be fair. Anthropomorphized animal creatures are still something a lot of people are like, on. But I could see this taking off if it plays well enough. Mostly because no one makes TCGs aside from Wizards.
It's a hard market to get into nowadays. It's not.
Wizards has such a hold on it.
Yeah.
You get Wizards, Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Pokemon. They're like three big, and there's not a lot of room to squeeze something in there.
There's a couple other smaller ones I've heard about before that I know have a little bit of enough of a community to support them. But certainly things like, it's sort of like when Steve Jackson Games tried to make a TCG. It failed horribly. Granted,
it just kind of disappeared.
It
was also Munchkin.
It wasn't a great game.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to rules. That's how it always comes down to.
So,
like, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is popular. I don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. People have explained it to me. I don't get it.
I remember watching some of the show. Maybe I could play that up.
No, here's the thing: is the show has a completely different rule set.
It does.
The actual card game.
I've heard that too, actually. Anyway, there is a how to play video if you want to check it out and learn and see if if you're interested on that end more than just like the cards art style and stuff like that. So check it out. Let's move on though with this one's an interesting one because I gotta be honestly I didn't know this existed. So for a little walk down history lane, back in the early days of Dungeons & Dragons, they actually had a competitor during the early RPG market. I mean, like, early RPG market with trolls and tunnels and trolls in the 1970s.
Yep.
It failed, but it's back in who knows what form because someone just owns it now and wants to make more of it.
There's apparently 8 editions of Tunnels and Trolls.
I just haven't heard about it, though. I'm sure there's a bunch of...
Apparently, 8th edition is only in French. So I assume maybe it's popular in France. Could be. D&D is not the primary tabletop RPG in every country, despite what it says on the front of the book.
Very true. It does have its popularity worldwide, but there's markets that have more trouble.
Like they've only just gotten into the Japanese market.
I'm actually not sure what else is more popular in the Japanese market, but I know there's been other RPGs. That's something to look into.
I used to know what's the most popular one. I know Western RPGs don't tend to do very well over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the most popular one over there is.
So, I haven't really heard about Rebellion that much, so maybe I've seen some of their products here and there, but again, like, don't know a lot about it.
Rebellion has done some okay stuff.
Okay.
What is it? They have a Dread game that's fun enough.
Okay.
And I believe they have a couple board games. Rebellion, don't really do a whole lot.
This might be their thing, you know? God. Okay, I'm gonna go on a limb here. I just look up the wiki page of Tunnels and Trolls. First edition 75, 4th edition 77. What happened to 2nd and 3rd edition?
Who knows, man? It could have been small changes that they consider editions, right?
Yeah, I guess
that's
true.
Kind of what. There's technically more editions than 5 editions of D&D.
There's also not apparently. I guess they consider 5.5 6th edition because they go 5th edition in 79, a 5.5 in 2005, 30th anniversary, aka 7th edition 2005, 7.5 28, and then the 2012 French only. So 2008 was the last one. They did have a deluxe edition, it looks like, but still, 2008 is when like you really got the like last, I guess, quotation English language version. I don't know.
It's certainly a strange one.
Yeah. So it's existed, it's had its market,
Nope.
but coming back?
Stackpole wrote an adventure for this game. How did I get Michael Stackpole to write for this shit? Jesus. Man's written some of like the best Star Wars books and some of the best video games. Crazy. I genuinely have never actually heard of Tunnels and Trolls.
Like, when I heard about it, it's like, I think I had heard about it in passing at one time. It sounded vaguely familiar, but, like, I would not have been able to tell you about it off the top of my head, you know?
The game I have played uses it. There are some old DOS games that have used Tunnels and Trolls system. I used to play a lot of old DOS games.
Yeah.
In my free time. Oh man, the Amiga. That's blast from the past.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a new thing, you know. So it's maybe we'll see some new Tunnels and Trolls stuff, and hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully.
Maybe. I generally don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So we have some more topics. When I first heard about this, I swore this would have been like an art, like a miniatures game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it wants me to. Discord tried to have me join a Discord server for Modifius. I didn't know I clicked on that accidentally somehow. Oh, that's where they've got information on it? That's where the link I had? I guess I'm going to go to someone else from Modifius.
I'm not joining a Discord server.
There I go. I found the other page. I found a different page. I accidentally clicked on the wrong link. Anyway, this is an RPG for Kong Skull Island and Pacific Rim. Compatible with the Everyday Heroes system. I have heard the Everyday Heroes system. But apparently... What?
Might be full screened on something. I think it says cam board.
Oh, I'm frozen. That's what happened.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Am I working? Yeah, I guess when the Discord tried to sign me up for a server, it was like... It's like, this link you clicked on that you were looking at, it's the wrong one. It's this join Modifius and die. So, it's Evil Genius Games, which I've heard about. That's why I knew about I've heard about their system before. And they're doing a Kong cinematic adventure from 1 to 10 and also Pacific Rim. And I'm like, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The Kong one is Island the Damned, which is a journey to Skull Island. They got some monsters there, and Dominion of Iron is the Pacific Rim one.
I mean, Pacific Rim is an odd one, mostly because I don't know if anything has happened with that IP in like 10 years.
I mean, the second one kind of apparently sucked. I never watched it.
The second movie was bad.
I watched the first one and liked it, so it's sort of like...
The first one was really good. The second one was not good.
Hi, Worm. Thank you for lurking.
I don't know if this... I don't believe the second one was made by Del Toro. Which is why it didn't have the charm to it.
Yeah. I mean, like... You know, if they do giant robot versus giant monster fight well, the Pacific Rim would be fine. I guess the other one where you're just exploring an island with monsters that you really can't fight is also fine.
Yeah, I mean... Kong Skull Island is definitely an interesting one.
I like it better. I'm gonna not lie. I'm going to like it better because it feels, you know...
Yeah. I assume it's based on the film.
Yeah.
Which was okay.
Yeah.
I thought the film was fine.
I think the legendary stuff they were doing with their giant monster verse has been fine. You know.
That's what I can say about it. It's fine. The monsterverse has been okay.
Yeah. You know, do they blow me out of the water? Honestly, no, but
I know what I'm getting when I go to watch one.
I like a good giant
It's
monster.
monsters fighting each other. There's not really a plot. It's just there is a plot here to get Godzilla to fight something, right?
Yeah.
That's what Godzilla is. There is a human plot there that exists to get Godzilla to fight something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it's always been, honestly.
My favorite thing, and I'll always laugh at this, is when King of Monsters came out, is there were people angry that it was about giant monsters fighting each other, and the human plot wasn't really there. And I'm just like, man, have you ever seen a Godzilla movie? The human plot is always bad.
Like, I will admit, the better Godzilla movie one, even from the Japanese ones, usually are the ones with the human plot, which is never good, is at least passable. That's what you ask for.
Yeah, it's passable and sometimes funny.
Yeah. or batshit, which are like Godzilla Final Wars. That's batshit.
There's one where the humans have to drill to like the center of the earth, I think.
Yeah.
To go stop subterranean aliens while Godzilla fights their monsters. Does the human plot matter? No, it's like 30 minutes of the movie. You're there to watch Godzilla fight some people.
Yeah. So, honestly, being the human plot of a movie isn't necessarily bad for an RPG, especially because, like, that's why I feel like the Kong one is a lot better. Ska Island is a island of not just giant monsters, but also, like, just deadly things. And apparently they got a 64-page bestiary there, which I really like. That's like, oh, you don't have to just use... Yeah. There's a lot of options. So, I mean, then the giant robot fighting giant monster one is interesting, but I just don't know how it's going to go.
Pacific Rim is a very specific niche.
So, and the system, if you want to know about, it's Everyday Heroes. They took the old D20 Modern and 5th editioned it, so that's the best way to describe it. It's
fair enough.
D20 Modern was interesting. It was 3rd edition.
Yeah.
Which 3rd edition has so many issues. I've played D20 Modern. I own a D20 Modern books. A couple of them. That's what I'm going to say about that. So, good on them. It seems interesting. I think that's the best I can say. And you can, I guess, either of them or both of them or something and pledge stuff. Anyway, we should move on. There's more stuff to talk about. Here it is. The Modifius is having a 2D20 World Builders seminar that they're planning on. They already had it. God damn it. This announcement came out probably. All right. The news, the place I found the announcement was a day before it happened.
Nice.
So I guess you could watch what happened, or maybe somewhere, or learn what happened. It was basically meant to help people get started in using and designing stuff in the 2D20 system. I guess they're pushing to have more people because they've got their own...
they have a OGL, basically.
Yeah, they've got their own OGL. They're pushing more people to get into using the 2D20 system.
It's a good system, and it's easy to build one.
Yeah.
It really revolves around a couple of simple equations.
Yeah. So, if it was recorded and made available on YouTube. So it'd be up on YouTube. I guess Modifius has a YouTube channel?
Yeah, they have a YouTube channel.
Okay. So a lot of people have a YouTube channel. I have to remember that a lot of people have YouTube channels. My brain doesn't go there sometimes.
Post it for you guys in chat.
Okay.
It's where I see a lot of their news. Here you go. Here's Modifius' YouTube channel.
I would probably follow that just to see if they say stuff more than they say on their
they put
site.
like a bunch. They don't release a lot of videos often, but they put a lot of announcement trailers up there.
We got a cinematic action RPG, Outgunned. So, I am curious as to how well the system goes for it. It's another funded one.
Yeah, that's fair. Makes sense.
So, I don't know the Ernie Award, but some people that won the award, they've authored this. They did Household and Broken Compass. If you know those names and know those role-playing games because they earned that award, good on you. I unfortunately don't pay attention to these award things, even in any kind of thing. Award ceremonies, just... Look, I'm just not going to say anything good. There's probably good award ceremonies. It's just the boring and bad ones just ruined it for me.
The Ernies are a tabletop RPG award show.
Okay.
Most notably, I know of them because Lancer withdrew from the awards a couple years ago because of a controversy.
Gotcha. So the idea is it's an action movie. You know, it's they say like it's action and heist type movies, so you could definitely do something like a Die Hard, a James Bond, but you could also do like a Ocean's 11 kind of thing, or
you
know.
Could do the best heist movie, Fast and Furious.
Probably could.
There's 10 of them now, you know?
Yeah, there's 10 of them now.
And I've seen all of them that are out. They are my guilty pleasure.
I mean, like, I can't bust anybody for it, because it's
I genuinely love them.
It's not my thing, but it's also I recognize them.
Dumb.
They're the essence of action popcorn movie.
They really are your classic. You're not going to remember what happens in this movie. Just enjoy your popcorn.
Yeah. So apparently they've got different PDFs that they've got the core rulebook and a couple of other PDFs out that are a lot more like supplemental. Like World of Killers is a lot more like John Wick kind of assassin-y.
Mm-hmm.
They've got like a hired gun, action flicks, some dossier, a lot of different stuff. And for 32, you get all the PDFs. It looks like, or most of them stuff. So,
yeah.
And for 76, you can get all the PDFs and the hardcover of the Outgunned book. So they do have a 70-page quick start.
Fair.
If you want to check it out. We don't get a lot of like pure action movie RPGs.
No,
so
we really don't. It's, I mean, neat, right? It's a fun little niche.
Yeah. So, it is funded. Check it out if you're interested. I'll have the link there. Got a couple more before we finish up the... I'm going to say, I don't know this world, but they have a campaign preview for it. But apparently, there's enough fans that it's getting a RPG. I'm going to have to look up what this is.
Okay.
Thorgal. Let me... Thorgal. Thorgal.
It's
comic series.
It's a comic series, apparently. Assuming it's the same thing.
You know, I'm going to say by looking at the wiki page about it, probably. With, like, you know, the guy with the arrow, and on the front of this role-playing book, the arrow thing.
It is Belgian.
Yeah.
So it definitely didn't make it to America.
So apparently, Portal Games crowdfunded a board game for it, and now this is a role-playing game that's coming out.
Okay.
It's supposed to be fantasy and sci-fi genres mixed in the world of Vikings. So Vikings meet sci-fi and fantasy.
Fair.
You know, it's a comic series. You take on the roles of People the Stars, the descendants of ancient Atlanteans who came to Earth from a distant planet, wielding supernatural powers, people performing astonishing feats. Okay. Original game mechanics, but D20 based. So it's going live on June 20 this year. Up on GameFound, which I put the link there if you want to keep an eye on it. You know, I don't know a lot of different graphic novels, so certainly if you are a fan of this, or, you know, this looks interesting enough, I definitely would say check it out and keep an eye out on it. It's a interesting sounding where you're space Atlanteans with mystical powers.
Yeah, I feel like this is very much not an American thing. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm just gonna say I don't think it ever made it to the U.S.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe this made it to like Britain, but I don't know. I've never heard of this, and I actively read graphic novels.
Originally 77, it's Norse mythology with Atlantis and sci-fi and horror and yes.
It was printed in English. Not a lot of it was.
So, I guess that's the unfortunate thing is, this is a very European.
Never really made it here.
But we're getting a copy that we as English speakers can now enjoy. Thorgal.
Yeah. Apparently it's popular in Poland as well.
So, we've seen video game board games and role-playing games. I don't know if we've seen this, because we've not seen a Battle Royale try to get a board game.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing an Apex Legends board game.
Never played Apex Legends.
I've played it once because it was back when I was doing PUBG a little bit. I went on a tryout some other Battle Royales. I tried Fortnite, I tried Apex Legends, and I think that was... And I tried some Warzone, I think.
I have played Fortnite.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Not super in my wheelhouse.
Fortnite's okay. I'm bad at it. But I remember when Fortnite was going to be a zombie game.
Yes, I do too.
10 years ago or some shit.
Mm-hmm. I believe when last time I tried out Fortnite, my comment was, man, it kind of makes me just want to go back and play PUBG, even though I know that's terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible, I knew.
I don't know a lot about Apex Legends. I mean, Respawn makes good stuff.
It's basically the Titanfall universe, I know that.
Yeah, I know it is part of Titanfall. This feels like a weird one. I guess it's a tactical skirmish game, which makes sense.
Yeah. I think, like, if you're just doing a strategic team versus team miniatures game, that's fine.
Here's the website.
Yeah. Okay, that's the...
The website has slightly more information.
Thank you.
Not much more. But it's a 2 to 4 player skirmish game.
I guess if you have a team of characters and there's 4 of you, that would make it feel more like the Battle Royale experience.
Yeah.
The 2-player might be fine. I don't know. They're doing 13 characters from the game. I can't remember how many there are.
There's a robot named Pathfinder.
Yep.
There's a lady who has like void powers. And those are the only 2 I know.
Yes. They do want to add more characters and expansion modules that allow up to 6 players. I guess when you have the more... it's one of these... There's one of the games that, like, when you have that, like, 4, or maybe with the expansion up to those 6 players, yeah. I gotta be honest, that might recapture some of what you're doing with a Battle Royale game, because you're all fighting each other in a miniature skirmish game? I don't know.
I do not know. I
don't
play Battle Royales, so I don't really know what they're supposed to be like.
I was always much for more like the team Battle Royales, where like, I never liked PUBG solo. It was always like, dive into a group with a bunch of people. So, a tabletop form of it, I don't know, it might work. It might. I don't know. This is one of those weird ones.
Possibly.
So, anyway. It's keep an eye out if you're interested in it, whether you like Apex or not, or like maybe make a miniature skirmish game. Maybe it'll be kind of that you like, honestly.
Yeah.
There's audiences for it. And
it could just be a fun board game regardless of the IP attached to it.
Exactly. You get those sometimes. And the last thing we got is one more Humble Bundle for our main topics today, and that is the Battletech Legends one.
Yeah, it's all the lore novels. Particularly 60 of them. I have read a fair amount of the Battletech novels. I can recommend probably most of them. Anything written by Stackpole is genuinely good, because everything that man writes is gold. But quite a lot of the novels are genuinely just very fun military sci-fi.
Certainly, these come back from. I did read a bunch of like novels from tabletop sources back in the day, but not any much more lately. Like I read some back in the late '90s, early 2000s, where I did like a couple of the D&D ones and some of the very early Magic ones. I tried those.
Into perspective for how popular Battletech used to be, there are over 100 novels for the game. There are also like 20 novels exclusively to Germany.
Okay.
It was very popular in Germany. It was genuinely quite a popular game. Unfortunately, it died.
Yeah.
FSA went under. The company that made it went under.
It's an unfortunate thing that Catalyst has done their best to. They've tried to bring them both BattleTech and Shadowrun back, but they sort of have. Not really.
They've tried. It's hard to bring something back like this because the niche of it really existed in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I think that's why Shadowrun can do a little bit better, because at very least, like,
Cyberpunk is still popular.
Yeah. The Cyberpunk game came out. Hey, look at this thing that is a cyberpunk, but it's a cyber fantasy game. Want to check it out? People would be like, oh, that seems interesting. It's kind of like what we were looking for, but also just a little different. But yeah, giant robots, very interesting. If you want to check it out.
It's good military sci-fi, especially if you like giant robots.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. 60 items.
60 books. I think these are probably some of the better ones.
Yeah.
Than the ones I'm looking at through here. Again, I can definitely recommend any of the Stackpole novels. He wrote the Rogue Squadron books for Star Wars.
And look, $18 for 60 items is not bad.
That's a lot of books.
That's a lot there, too. So, why don't we move on to our deeper discussion topic for today?
Shit.
And this is one actually, like, I've had in the past, but I thought to bring up today because it is something that we are seeing a change in a lot of systems nowadays. Because it's going away. What's going away? Why alignment in a lot of ways going away. So that's why I wanted to talk about the concept of alignment, and is there a better way of doing it, do we think? Is there other RPGs that do it better? Or is it just something that we can't have at all? And it's an interesting discussion, and I feel like the thing is, I'm going to preface this with the system that 5e originally had, which is the old system, and Pathfinder First Edition used it, and, even Pathfinder Second Edition sort of used it to begin with. They're just kind of bad, because they're just... They sort of describe stuff, but not really?
Yeah. My opinion on alignment is solely this. It's typically just bad because it restricts player choice too much. We saw this with 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition. There are classes that are just alignment locked, and if you veer from that, you can't take class levels anymore. It's arbitrary what alignment means. It is a tool for the DM to try and keep players in check, but again, you can't make morality a mechanic.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to do that. Hell, I mean, even evil alignments are very ill-defined because when the system was made, that was a no-no. So those weren't even meant to be played back then.
Yeah.
There wasn't a definition for what that kind of character would look like.
Having, again, like, this past week, I dove back into D&D 4e. And I'm going to say, though it still was bad, it was better, the alignment system they had there. Because you know what they had? 5 alignments. You were either the extreme, lawful good, lawful evil, or just good, evil, or, honestly, unaligned was an option. That was just one of those things, like, you're not really either, you know? So certainly you could have your extreme characters that were in the alignments, but if your character didn't want to be locked into morality, you could just be like, I'm unaligned. Yeah, I guess slapping onto monsters, too, is definitely a thing that makes it, like, it's an excuse for something, for using a monster in a way. I don't know.
A system I think actually did do it fine is the Fantasy Flight Star Wars game. Because you had morality points. It wasn't a flat thing, it was something that was always changing. And in Star Wars, your balance between the light side and the dark side matters in universe.
Yeah.
So I think they did a good job with it by having you, if you did certain acts, your morality would slide a certain number of points in one direction or another, and it gave you suggested points for that. Right? Like if you are playing a Jedi and you murder someone, you would get some points in the dark side direction. You'd lose your light side morality a little bit. And I felt that's a good way to do it, is to have as a point system if you're going to mechanically do it, rather than here's a box grid, you fit somewhere in here.
I think it's one of those things is like, there's plenty of systems that you just don't need an alignment. And I think that's one of those things is you really technically don't need an alignment system. As you said, most of the time they tend to be restrictive, or as Lightning said in chat here, it is an excuse for certain things to happen. But, like, it can become hard to define things because there is sometimes a morality to stuff and a world, but, like, it's hard to define a morality, and I think that's where alignments and stuff kind of make it difficult.
Yeah, I'll use D&D as an example. In D&D, alignment doesn't work because how do you define what the correct morality is in a massive fantasy world?
Yeah.
What is the center? What is neutral? You can't define that in a world as massive as Forgotten Realms or as massive as Golarion. You just can't.
Yeah. There are systems in these games where there's aspects that certainly, in a way, scream a need for some kind of definition there, but again, it's sort of like they've established them, so it's like, you can certainly take them out afterwards. I'm like, honestly, the concepts between, like, let's say, because there is deities in these games, these fantasy games at least, channeling, like, more positive or negative energy. On that end, yes, we might define, you know, more deities that channel negative energy as more evil, or ones that are good, and ones that could do either as neutral. But again, like, it is, you know, I think rather than, you know, defining them maybe as good, you could say, like, here's some tenets which somebody could look at and see, because honestly, we all have our own morality system, whether we would recognize that in our own idealism as good or evil, but just say that, you know, they channel positive energy and just have that, like, just a thing that normally they can do. And then you could have one that maybe is good, but might channel negative for its own reasons or something then, too. It would be more unique. Or something that's evil that might channel positive for its own reasons. Like, I could see, like, something that in the old system would be defined more lawful evil, having that choice. or maybe something that's more like a chaotic good, like hunter type, maybe having like some channel negative for some kind of choice. You know, there is story reasons you could define that in the characters of these, you know, very living gods in the system, and it would be better, I think, then. But I don't know if anybody has gone that way. But you could then kind of remove the alignment, I guess, or something. I don't know.
I think one of the main issues with alignment is a lot of it for fantasy follows what D&D did, which was good, evil, law, chaos. Those terminologies are too strict for morality. Obviously, you know, killing someone is an evil act, but it's not evil all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, murder is bad. It's hot take. I don't think it should be defined as good and evil, though. I think it should be defined as... I think law and chaos works, but I don't think good and evil work.
Yeah. Like, you know, certainly murder against the law, but, like, exception, defending oneself. You know, there's always exceptions built into the way the law works, you know, so it's like between law and almost unlawful, you know. The good and evil aspect of it, that's just the morality of themselves, because like...
Good and evil is too subjective.
Yeah.
There is no... Where is the point of neutrality on that? It is simply too subjective. Where with law and chaos, you know where the neutral is, because the neutral is where the laws start. Right?
Yeah.
Chaos is breaking those laws.
And Worm, you do have a point there, like, when the scale slides a lot more, and you're not restricting player choices,
yeah,
it works better.
Which is what the Fantasy Flight games do, for starters. It's the sliding scale. Mm-hmm. And to a degree, the Avatar system has kind of it as well with their balance system.
Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those things that... it's one of those things like, yes, you know, let's give an example of a game where there is an alignment system for very obvious reasons. Vampire the Masquerade. There's no alignment system. Why? Well, you're vampires, you feed on people, you're not human. You're predators that feed on people. So there really isn't the same morality that exists for people there. You can't give them that morality. There is a humanity to it, but the humanity scale is a lot more the difference between, you know, you act like a normal person or you act more like a monster. So there is a morality, not a morality scale, but like a scale that, like, you define for yourself.
It is almost a morality scale, but in a better way.
Yeah.
Because it's not good and evil, right? Because vampires are inherently evil.
Yeah.
Humans are inherently good.
Yeah. The concept of humanity is I'm closer to human, or I'm closer to the, you know, the predator which just hunts people down, you know, and doesn't care that, you know, and, you know, how much of that essence of a person you keep. It still has that kind of, like, a little bit of that alignment scale to it, certainly with humanity. And I think vampires do that best. Like, there's other systems that just, like, don't do it at all. I'm sorry, there's a rage scale and, like, a gnosis scale for werewolves, but they don't do anything. They're just werewolves. And honestly, they don't really care about people either. They're not a different creature entirely, you know?
One of the other issues with an alignment is no one is genuinely... People are not binary more than one thing. People are always going to be in the middle. People are not lawful good. Because that's just not how that's not how the mind works.
Yeah.
You're never going to be 100% good or 100% bad. You will always fall somewhere in the middle.
Okay, so there was a system in the Chronicles of Darkness version of it. But see, like, I think that's the thing is, and you just said it best there. I could be a person that tries their best to stay within that lawful good kind of mentality, but I'm not always going to be there, and it's going to be situational when I decide that based on my own morality system, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm more defined on stuff. It's looser.
Yeah, defining a character by a binary scale of a lawful good or a chaotic good doesn't work, because that's just not how people work. It restricts you in your character creation a little too much when you use the D&D alignment scale.
Again, I still think the 4E alignment system, not great, but I thought it was better because they got rid of a lot of stuff there and a lot of that chuff there. And that's the kind of thing is, yes, there are very good alignment systems, I think, and there are bad alignment systems, but they're also, like, you can maybe pass by in alignment systems, too. I think I honestly say, like, probably just don't need a lot of these, honestly, you know? There is some aspect of it which is good to have, I'm going to say here. And this is the part of it that I say is good for an alignment system, not because you want to have an alignment system, but some of the concepts of it are good, is you can just have it that you can define to a degree with your character creation what type of person you are.
Yeah.
Do you follow the rules? Do you go against the rules? Do you try to be a good person, or do you not care? Or do you go out of your way to harm people because you could be a sociopath? Granted, those characters, there's a place for them.
Yeah.
In groups of their own characters, you know, that they get along and do things. You can be the horrible, evil assassin, in quotation, evil assassin group that has no morality and does a lot of bad things, and probably have a fine adventure. That's the adventure you're defining.
Yeah.
But the normal games could be you generally don't care, or you care about people a lot more and try to be nice to people, like, oh, that person's in trouble, I'll help them out, or I'll just walk by. That seems to be the two different types of people you get a lot. So defining that, and then also defining, you know, like, how well you're sticking, especially because, again, you're in a world that doesn't have, like, worldwide cops or worldwide rules, so how much do you respect, you know, like, the ongoing law? You could just be, I generally stick with whatever kind of rules that seem to be the normal ones, and, you know, like, do that, or I'm very strict with my rule, or I'm just like, whatever, I do my own thing, you know, because, you know, I don't believe in it here. I don't know, there's a lot of ways to do the idea of it, that you can just define that as you as a person, that what you try to tend to do, rather than sticking to the alignments. And I feel like, yeah, when you don't define these alignments, it's almost better. And they always have to define the alignments in a system they put them in, especially like the D&D ones. It's like, here's these 9, while maybe it would have just been better to be like, here's these words, define them how you want. I don't know. Yeah.
Again, I think that in all of my experience, again, in my opinion, the Star Wars one has done it the best, because Star Wars is a system, it's a world where there is a defined universal moral alignment. Bad things happen when you're too far on either side in that universe. So I think they did it well enough of having it as a point system, which is how the video games of Star Wars usually do it, as well as a point system. I think that's how you should do it. If you're gonna have an alignment system, do it more like a Mass Effect or Bioware RPG, where you have points in a direction rather than a static block.
Like, I'm gonna say this here: removing the alignment system, but taking, like, concepts of it that work. It can work. Let's take Pathfinder, and the two things I'm going to say, the deities, as I talked about. Mm-hmm. You could just, honestly, redefine them as those that, you know, spread the morality of, like, helping out others. Those that are just, you know, natural things. Or those that, like, you know, like, look for, like, honestly, you know, like, trick and oppress or stuff like that. There are certainly beings that will, you know, tell people to do that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to call it good or evil. And the same could be said with, like, the law or chaos. It could just be, like, the universe trying to find order, or the chaos of the universe itself. Like, the chaos is a fine word. It could just be order rather than, like, law, honestly.
Law and chaos go back a very long way in terms of terminology. So I believe,
Yeah.
and they are philosophically defined.
Yeah. But certainly, like, when you have, like, those energies of the universe, like the order versus chaos kind of thing, then you easily can define, like, oh, there's the order realm or there's the chaos realm, and, you know, then, like, there's like the 9 divine realms of Pathfinder, which match alignments. You can still kind of have them, but you can, like, I'm saying you can separate out from the alignment with the concepts of, like, some of these things, is like, you know, the meetings between 2 sets of energies and kind of things like that, and creating these, you know, I don't know.
Alignment shouldn't be something used to take away player choice.
Yeah.
Because that is the D&D system and Pathfinder system, as in, it is just a way to take away player choice, and also, genuinely, there is no reason, mechanically, to ever play anything other than a neutral character in older D&D and Pathfinder, because you are unaffected by many, many spells if you are just neutral.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Like, neutral was the best to do for, like, a lot of those older systems.
Look at the Buccaneers episode where we fought those Aranis in a closet. Chester was chaotic good and was the only one taking damage, because the rest of us were in neutral alignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and certainly there's a lot of stuff that punishes you for being good or evil, and I think it's like it's not bad to have morality, and certainly that's the thing. Is like, I think it's better for, rather than to rely on the alignment to try to keep your players in line, just punish them for being bad. You know, if they do something terrible, there's usually stuff in the world that you doesn't like that. Whether it's some police officers, or someone that claims vengeance and sends assassins after them, or bounty hunters, or this thing here or that thing there, or there's so many things that their actions can lead to consequences, whether good or evil. If they do super good and, like, defy, like, some kind of terrible, in quotations, villainous type character, they might want revenge, you know, and, like, focus on the people. That's a consequence. That can be a story thing. So let the morality of their actions define how the world consequences them, rather than the alignment that they have define where they're going to be. I think that's what I have to say about it. You know, and again, there are plenty of systems that just don't deal with that because they don't need to. You know, Shadowrun, you're not good or evil. You know what you do for a living? You go steal stuff for people.
Yeah, you're just trying to live.
Yeah,
that's the same case with Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
You're not good or evil. You're just trying to survive. It's why I think that a personality trait type system is better, where you can define the kind of person you are outside of 9 preset options.
And, like, I'm sorry, this is something that has existed. There have always been, like, the personality questionnaires, even in, like, things like 3.5 and Pathfinder, where they're like, here's some questions that you could, like, you know, ask to define your player characters. Just have that. Don't have the alignment. Give better questions. Rather than, like, you know, how old are you? What's your family? Yeah, those are great for background. You can ask better questions. And I think that's what 5th edition, in a way, got right with their personality questions. I think that helps a lot to define characters. I mean, unless you're me playing Badger, which I just put Badger for all 4.
I think that's fair.
I did do that. But that was just me being a fucking meme. Yeah. So, alignments, they've been a thing. Are they going away?
Kind of.
Sort of, yeah. In a way, no. My big thing is, yes, we're taking away alignments in, like, in 2nd edition, Pathfinder's in their new revised edition, when they do the rules upgrade, and it's just some errata and the new books, the new edition. It's not a new edition. I guess it's
just a rule rewrite.
Rule rewrite where they're putting in the errata, redoing it. But one of the things is they're removing alignment, But I'm curious as how they do stuff with that for the, in quotations, bestiary. Which, again, is also a thing I actually like about, that system a little better, which I've thought about it a lot more. They call their stuff, they have a bestiary, they call it. Unlike D&D, which calls it a monster manual to begin with. There's a difference between a beast, which can be anything, and a monster, which tends to be something that's threatening you.
Yeah.
It invokes something different. I think that's something that D&D needs to do to, it can still call it a monster manual. That's fine. But you have to invoke more of a different feeling even on the stuff that you go against. I mean, first edition's just First edition's done a lot of stuff that's just not for us. Thanks, first edition. Anyway, I think that's good enough for now. Alignment.
Yeah.
Did you do anything this week in tabletop? I'm going to say for now, I did, except for my talks, nothing.
There was some stuff I did, yeah.
Ooh. Do anything Sunday?
Sunday, no.
Okay.
Oh, Sunday, yes.
Oh.
Sorry. Sunday, yes. We played our Modern Earth game. What the hell did we do? We did something. Oh, we robbed a Mexican restaurant that had a planar portal in the back.
Okay.
And we went and talked to some evil people.
Mm-hmm.
And learned a bunch of stuff about the world. More importantly, that a bunch of snake people are looking for a piece of their god. It's a JRPG, as you can tell.
Look, I'm not going to complain about JRPGs. They can be fun.
That was kind of it, I think, is we just talked and learned. Cell used his wish spell for something stupid. He wished for, a way to find his soul, and then it gave him a compass that pointed to himself. So,
It's like you still have that.
Yeah, basically, probably still have it. But we learned a bunch of lore stuff about the world and the universe.
Nice.
And then Cell wants to become a vampire because his life is over or something. I don't know. He's playing a character that makes a lot of bad decisions.
I mean, the more I hear about this Sunday game and the level of bad decisions, it just...
Mostly just Cell's character.
Yes. It just seems that he makes just more and more bad decisions.
Very questionable choices with his life.
Yeah.
He also goes by Barry Bateman now, because he changed his name from August Anderson to Barry Bateman, so people wouldn't know who he is. Couldn't come up with a more creative one, But that's Sunday.
Yeah.
We do things. Yeah, basically humans being humans. Earth's gonna blow up at some point. Just how humans be.
Do anything Monday?
No, I didn't do anything Monday.
Okay. How about Tuesday?
We did Space Game on Tuesday.
Ooh, Space Game.
We went to a planet basically held up by robots. I'm very lost in that game currently because I missed a session. Apparently it was a very important session to miss. Because I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Huh.
We're taking down some robot terrorists who are very stupid. I don't know why they're stupid, but everyone seems to think they're stupid. Probably because one of the robots apparently quoted Nietzsche when the party interrogated it, which is always just a mark of intelligence. And we're gonna go kidnap a criminal dude to get information where the robot leader is, and I'm gonna commit some crimes to that man to get information.
Good old crimes. Good old crimes. All right. I think Thursday?
I ran my game on Thursday. They learned stuff. They learned that the world is stuck in time, and that Celestials have also invaded. And then that world is probably just going to die, because there's no saving it. Because if they would try to save it and succeed, the world they're from would cease to exist.
Well, yeah, that kind of always
So I
sucks.
presented them with the moral quandary of, hey, if you do anything here, you're going to just cease to exist.
Well, that does seem to be an issue.
They found a bunch of life pods of a long-dead species. Unfortunately, none of them survived, but they learned things. And they will learn things more next session. And then in 2 sessions, the game will probably be over. Because the game is pretty much wrapped up. They've learned most of what they need to learn. They've mostly fixed Cell's character with his robot lungs.
Why is it always Cell's character that has all the problems?
I mean, I don't know, man. Cell just makes bad. This is Cell's character who started out with 8 con in 5e, which wasn't good. He now has 14 con.
Better.
Which is good. He went from having 30 HP at level 7 to having 58 HP at level 8. Because he took con.
That's improvement, most certainly.
Yeah, Cell's made a lot of... Cell's character kind of derailed the original story I wanted to tell, and I'm still a little salty about it. But I think it's actually ended up being more interesting. Oh yeah, Lightning's character is a wizard who has almost 100 HP.
Well,
Lightning has tough and like 18 con. Because it's a joke that Lightning always takes tough and high con. So I think Lightning full sent the joke for this character.
yeah. Anything on Friday then?
No, I got a car on Friday.
Ah, congrats. For my week, if you missed it, I did, well, the 3 tabletop related streams. I talked all about 4E on Tuesday, which, I gotta be honest, I forgot more about that game than I thought I did. It's not too difficult of a system, honestly, but I did forget a bunch, and I'm glad I remembered it then and talked about it. It was interesting to get back to it. Then I talked about Osirian. If you want to learn about basically Galarian's version of Egypt, which I will tell you is connected to actual Egypt.
Of course it is.
Because the storyline is the Osirian gods basically lost favor. And you know what they did? They went to Earth, to ancient Egypt. So, all those ancient Egyptian gods are also the Osirian ones. Yup. They just had it connected together, and it was interesting enough that they did it. And then earlier today, if you missed it, I managed to sneak in making a mage character. You know, I've already talked about the magic system. It's really easy to talk about that system when you don't have to go into details about its headache-involving magic system for the GM, or storyteller, I should say. Just saying. So check those out. I'll be up on YouTube and such. Other than that, Buccaneers will be back next Wednesday. We're ready for return. Going to Chelix. Cell's character's going to have a nice ceremony where it's sort of like, I guess we'll respect you as a high priest, even though you're this weird war priest, which we're like, why did you choose to become a war priest of a deity that doesn't have war priests? Because not really up for war? You know? I get the feeling most war priests are deities of war. Or battle, at least.
Most likely.
The pirate lady who does fight is kind of... drop my phone.
Technically, she does have the war domain.
Oh, she does have the...
She does actually have the war domain.
Then I guess it's not entirely alien, but still probably a little unusual. Still, nonetheless. Anyway, We'll see about that. And that's the schedule for this week, I guess, for now. Check that stuff out and all the things, etc. Thank you for joining Momo.
Yeah.
Remember, check out YouTube, for Discord, Twitter for schedule. I'll be back Monday for the streaming tabletop stuff. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, and Buccaneers on Wednesday evenings. And that's the schedule right now. And we'll be back next week. I'll be back at least, hopefully Momo or someone else, or we'll have people here for Discussing Tabletop next Saturday at 6 p.m. as we always do, where we'll talk more about the news of the week, some interesting topic, and call it a day. Anyway, I can't think of anything else, and I'm tired. So farewell, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.